YouTube here. And what are you all seeing right now? I'm screen sharing. Or do you see the book on your side?
I see the YouTube.
Oh, you
Yeah.
are seeing the YouTube. Okay, so you're seeing everything I'm doing. Oh boy. Okay. There we go. Can't be stealthy. Unless you have two monitors. I have just the laptop, so I gotta upgrade. So, all right, I think we should get started. Let's get started with the reading. I was trying to set the mood. I got my lei and my party beads and dressed up a little bit here. I don't know. Put my there you go. How my New Year's Eve party outfit. So welcome everyone, and I'm so happy to have you here. And thank you to Poets and Writers for being a sponsor of this collective offering to release. The Love Letters for 2020 is designed to release the traumas of this year because it was so extreme. It was so extreme. I mean, it still is, but we find solace in each other, in our voices, in our shared experiences, and it's collective healing. So it's an honor to be here with you all and to be of service to you and provide an outlet for your voice and an outlet to share and just to also be heard and be seen, right? All right. So this is the book. Thank you to everyone that's participated in our workshop. So Love Letters of 2020 was a 3-workshop series, and where we looked at facing and confronting 2020 with our anger, our sadness, our regret, confronting the pain, the trauma, and releasing it. Through writing, it's so healing to just let go and put all that pressure and all that weight on the page, or on the computer screen, wherever you were writing or typing, but sharing that pain, putting it on the paper, let the paper take the weight or that burden for you so that you can just wipe it off your shoulders, release it, and be free to move forward. So that was workshop 1, and in the second workshop we bared witness to the wins of 2020 for us personally, to the positive, and sometimes it's hard when there's so much pain and there's so much death around us and injustice in this country, the United States, and with all this anger and trauma, like, it's hard to see the positive sometimes. So we were forcing you, we're like, no, there's positive there. There's got to be, there's positive for all of us, and it just looks different to each of us, So that was the second workshop, to look at the positives for you, the wins and the good things, and write about that and acknowledge it, embracing the change, right? And then the third workshop, after confronting the anger, the traumas, and then embracing the change and looking at the positive, and then we look to the future. What are we going to do to rebuild? How are we rebuilding our future? How are we rebuilding ourselves? That's really what it comes down to. Letters to 2020 is it's walking you down the path of your life from this year, helping you heal, cope, recognize, and then rebuild yourself for next year, with the lessons learned and the hobbies and skills attained, or and the things that we love to do, we now have more time to do them, so lots of experts arose from these times. So I mean, that through those ashes we rebuild, right? So that's what this project was about. And I wanted to, again, thank you for participating in it. Thank you for being here as an audience, and to everyone out there in YouTube, and also out there in our LA Poet Society website. And we're going to also post it on our other outlets. But thank you for watching and being a part of this and supporting the word. You can also write with us and or write to this theme and share your poems with us you know, anytime we're happy to put them on our website, you know, and happy to just listen. If you don't want it published, we were happy to just hear what you wrote or read what you wrote. So if any of you out there that weren't in the workshop but want to write this, you know, a love letter in this vein, like definitely go for it. It's healing, and it's definitely helpful to recognize the positives that we've all had, no matter how big or small. You know, it's how we get to the next step, right? The next week, the next day, the next month, the next moment. So this is for you. It's for everyone. Hi, Michelle. I'm so glad you made it. I was like, Michelle, you gotta. I had to make sure. I was like, where is she? Glad to see you here, and I got your poem. So, I am screen sharing. So I hope that you all can see. Do you see the cover of the book or the chapbook?
Yes. Yeah.
So Love Letters to 2020. Again, I want to thank Poets and Writers. They've been our sponsor for this workshop series and many of our workshops. So we're very grateful that they give us love and trust us to, you know, continue our mission and help others and help heal. You know, we're here for you. We really are, and we love that. We love to be here for you, and it's like it's the least we can do. You know, just to be a space where you can come and talk, be seen, reflect, and just be in community. So the way this is gonna work, I just also wanted to say hello to everyone again, and welcome everybody here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move through the book, and when your poem is present, you know, please read your poem. And after we read the book, after we read the chapbook, what we can do is, you know, if there's any questions, or, you know, I definitely welcome discussion. You know, I want this to be an open space.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progresses.
Oh, see, there's one of those guys. Hello.
The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at...
Alrighty. Well, there you go. That's what happens when you cast a wide net to get people to join you. You get some odd folks sometimes. Oh, I had let's see.
I sent out to a bunch of people, so if you don't know anyone, ask me. Maybe I know them.
Oh, well, that guy was right. You know, it was a little bit weird, so I just decided to remove him. Okay, cool.
It's recording.
Good? Everybody good? Everybody else is familiar? All right, great. So yeah, as I was saying, so I want this to also be a place where you can just chat and discuss, and give everyone the respect when they're reading their poems. Make sure you're muted when other folks are reading. But after the reading, yeah, let's stay in community and discuss and comment on each other's works, or anything else that you want to talk about. I definitely welcome it. And for the folks that are not here, and I still would like to read their poems. So maybe I'll start. I'll read someone's poem that might not be in the chat right now, but you know, maybe some of us can also read them on their behalf. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Thanks. So yay! I'm gonna see if I can get this to be a little bit bigger, or is that? Yeah, I think I need to get it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, Love Letters of 2020. Yay! This is all about us. This is our document, everyone. You're all a part of this. So again, Love Letters is a project of the LA Poet Society with sponsorship from Poets and Writers. And this is our debut of our Los Angeles Poet Society Press document. So really happy about that. So I did write like a bit of an intro, kind of what I mentioned, but I guess I'll read it again. So why send a love letter to 2020 when so many awful things have impacted our world? While there's no doubt been frustration with this year, and pain and helplessness and illness and a reminder of our fragile existence, There are blue skies beneath the clouds that lend itself to show us what we are made of and what really matters to us. With 2020, we were forced to be isolated and look inward. There, we discovered ourselves. Ourselves were covered in fear, anger, sadness, regret, but also epiphanies were made, victories, healing moments, new beginnings, and at last, we were able to hold on to something that helped us get through the days, weeks, and months ahead, living in a newness that we didn't want. Many took to hobbies, families got to know each other again. Our place as global citizens amplified as we took to the World Wide Web as a crutch for unity and social engagement. Within the United States, the racist structure that rebuilt the country showed itself in plain view as we all mourned the death of George Floyd. The pain of pandemic, my toolbar's in my way. The pain of pandemic was heightened and new, but this open wound of injustice, murder, and inequality urged us to stand together in unity for our Black brothers and sisters. We all took upon a new role, and many became a voice for justice. Love Letters to 2020 was first inspired by my high school students, who, meeting on the first day of school, I could choose to lead the class like business as usual, or choose to be a haven for their voice, a place where they could confront the traumas of 2020 and attempt to understand our new life and how we could rebuild moving forward. This is where all that has led to, a place to release our trauma. First, we confronted our anger, sadness, and regrets. Then we were led to recognize the positives, our own personal wins, new hobbies we took up, new or attained expertise that we at last had the time for, new relationships that were made, and old relationships that were nurtured and strengthened during these times. This all naturally led us to look to the future, 2021, and how we could adapt the lessons we learned, changes we made to shape a future we could live with and enjoy. The Los Angeles Poet Society is proud to have been here for you all since quarantine began, and we will continue to be here for you as an outlet to escape to,
Y'all got any beans?
as a place to be
Y'all
heard
got any
and
baked
seen,
beans? Y'all got any
as a
beans?
place for creative
Y'all got any
community.
baked beans? Y'all got any beans? Y'all got any baked beans? Y'all got any beans?
Oh, there he goes. So yes, so as a place for creative community, thanks Juan. And let's see, and more. We are grateful for the support of Poets and Writers, an outstanding organization that has been there for us writers for decades and decades. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for letting us help the people. Enjoy the love letters within these pages. Take care of yourselves and mask up. Big hearts and omateo with love. Me, Jessica M. Wilson, Los Angeles Poet Society. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, gotta let everyone know what it's about because we want to share this book, this chapbook with everyone. You know, we want to not just contain it to ourselves, so it's to be released, and so you're all part of that experience. Here we go. This first love letter is for me actually, and then I swear it's gonna be someone else's turn. Oh my goodness, I feel like a little strange about that. Okay, dear 2020. Thank you for sharing your light with me. You've made me feel helpless, crushing down my movement like a shadow pinned to the floor. In these times, I have reached out to others to carry my weight, to hold and nurture my children, to love me, though I didn't want to wake up again. I feel like I have been reborn in another version of myself that was ready the whole time, sitting there, reflecting on how I would pause the life I was leading so it could have the chance to take over. It was a better self that appeared in the mirror, a healthier silhouette, a heart of 40 years that wanted to grow another 40 or 60, a mother that wanted to come to surface and share more smiles, learn new languages, envelop nature at the center of her blue water. Once I let myself be held in the hands of community, I was able to at last be free, stepping back to see all that I already was and just let it take over. Thank you, 2020, for giving eyes to the vision. Thank you, 2020, for freeing me into myself. I am blessed to survive and know so many survivors. I am blessed to see the survivors in front of me sharing actions that are meaningful, visibly laughing, cognitive, visibly joyful, visibly raw, enraged, passionate, and engaged in my living. I will continue my rituals with you into the future because these rituals remind me who I am, who I have always been, and I don't ever again want to forget me. Thank you. This next letter is from Scott. Okay, Scotty, this is you. Oh, thank you, everyone. Big hearts. So, Scotty, you can unmute, and then there you go.
Awesome. Okay. Yay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Let's shut the window. Dear 2020, thank you for bringing me inside. Thank you for giving me a room alone. Thank you for giving new communities. Thank you for a new therapist who listens. Thank you for podcasting equipment and laptop. Thank you for spin-offs, new shows, and ideas. Thank you for the wonderful growth and expansion. I love you, 2020. Dear 2020, you opened my mind, peeling me open layer after layer. Medicinal cleansing, vulnerability, facing fears, leaving unsafe places, outgrowing unhealthy relationships, changing of friendships to new seasons, doors closing to other opportunities opening, letting seasons change, grateful for the letting go. Dear 2020, you opened my creativity, growing curiosities like sunflowers out of season, everywhere, abundant, sunshine, warmth. Keep growing, fragrant imagination, podcasts giving birth to new podcast series, new ideas, new forms, setting out to challenge stereotypes through listening began to challenge my own, expressing social justice transformation, imagining a new existence, listening, opening, engaging, creating. Dear 2020, you opened my heart, redefining the ways I talk with myself, sharing the kindness with Scott. The kindness and giving spirit so much shared, understanding truly I deserve that same love. Being kind when I fall short or lose my patience. Kind to myself first. In isolation, it was me, alone, virtually, literally, isolated. I needed to be kind to me first. Open my heart, love myself completely, even the dark and unlovable parts. Those deep places, love them as they are. Love Scott with pure joy of his grand sensitivity. Dear 2020, you opened my hope, teaching the power of perspective. First world problems are not heavy, and I can willingly set them down. Imagining a new way of understanding, colonial imperialism is not a blessing. It is heavy. It's okay to talk about how it impacts me. It is blessed to be vulnerable. Hope is letting the tears flow, knowing that water is how everything grows. Thank you, 2020, for opening me. Thank you, 2020, for opening imagination. Thank you, 2020, for opening creativity, giving hope once again, reminding us the power in vulnerability. grateful, but so many are upset with you. However, I love the adversity. I adore it every part. Thank you, 2020. I love you.
Yeah. Woo! I think you're next again. I think I had 2 of yours in a row. So yeah, that was beautiful, Scotty. Oh, I love that poem. So powerful.
Yeah, I kind of imagined these in a set. So that was kind of like the final, because I couldn't figure out how to be angry with 2020 as much as I tried. Dear 2020, there is no reason to be angry with you. Teaching me how to sit with discomfort in newfound ways. Opening up the power of adversity. The strength to grow. Injustice in the world makes me angry. 2020 did not create the injustice. It allowed us all to witness injustices we had chosen not to acknowledge or outright dismissed. How can I be angry with such a powerful revelator as 2020? You taught humanity our shared vulnerability. Thank you, 2020.
That was so righteous. I love that. What you said, it allowed us all to witness injustices that we had chosen not to acknowledge or outright dismissed. Oh my God. Like, you calling everyone out. You're like, this isn't new. I mean, and it's not. I mean, you talk to any Black person, and it's like, it's not new. Or brown person, or queer person, or, you know, women, like
a different form of ability that we regularly vow. And I'm even thinking now, like, how we're all gathering on Zoom, and some folks are introverts, right? And so, like, this Zoom world and this ability to, like, turn off your camera if you need to and engage as you are comfortable is allowing people in a whole new way to engage with spaces that didn't have the ability, because extroverts, you know, just take so much of how we gather for granted. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right.
But yeah, it was good.
Wisdom. And
Wow.
I can,
Yeah, what a
your
great
next
point.
you want me to fast forward to your next poem, or just kind of go in the order? Because your third poem, I think, is at the end.
You can go in the order. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Yes, God. Oh my gosh. Amazing. I honestly, you have so much wisdom. I mean, just the school of experience, huh? Beautiful.
The sidewalk is hard and gives you a lot of time to think when you're waking up on that hard cement. So
oh man. Oh boy. That's so awful. Okay, so this next poem is from Adriana Citlali Briones Rios, and actually she also goes by Diosa Quetzalcoatl. Some of you might know her or recognize that handle on Instagram. She emailed us. She didn't get. She took the workshop through the YouTube. So here's her poem called "Afraid." I am afraid that the diminishing sounds of running motors suits me well. I am afraid I have become enamored by the tweeting melodies of my feathered friends. I'm afraid I can live without indulgences and overabundance. I am afraid that silence is now music to ears. I am afraid I prefer to be surrounded by sacred smoke than by society. I'm afraid that the world as we know it is finally coming to an end. I'm afraid to think that this entire shift is happening right here, right now, and that the world is still not ready. I am afraid many shall pass, and yet these still won't be enough to wake up the masses. Wow. I'm afraid that when they do wake up, they will respond from a place of fear rather than love. But most of all, I am afraid to tell you that these are my truths. So it is, so it shall be. All right, Citlali, Adriana. You know, I've always known her as Diosa, so her name is Adriana. I didn't know that. But yeah, that was powerful. What she said about the shift happening right here, right now, and that the world is still not ready. Wow.
Yeah, and I loved how she kept, you know, that line kept repeating, right? I'm afraid. And considering this is an ode to 2020, a love letter to 2020, like, you know, her saying that she was afraid over and over again, you know, tells her how she was feeling about 2020. You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel that too on the script.
Yeah, and then some folks, I mean, depending on our vulnerabilities too, some folks are really wanting to stay isolated, right? Because of the fear that they're gonna get COVID. You know, some folks are just rather just stay to themselves for preservation. That was another line. That was someone else's line last night. The self-preservation. That was really good. Yes. Okay. So thank you to Adriana. I think she sent 2 poems, so that's one. So I'm gonna ask if who would like to. Well, hold on. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Who would like to read? Or well, no, to read the next poem. I think it's from also Adriana. If another volunteer to read, like we'll each take a turn. If they're not here, that we can each take a turn to read someone else's poem. So Juan, did you want to read the next poem then? Okay.
Actually, I'll do the next one right now. I'm giving the kids some food.
Okay. Would anybody like to read the next one? Imogen, would you like to? Or Michelle, read this poem for Adriana?
I'm not able to see it. I'm on an Android phone, so I can't see.
Oh, you can't see it?
No.
I can
Oh
do
no.
it. I can do it.
Okay.
Right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So it's called No Need to Name It. To all my brothers and sisters feeling the weight of hate and evil, the emotions are so intense, I vomit after every line, refusing to use it as a pretense to fully speak my mind. The world deserves to know the malice of your kind. Rewind the story, where to begin. Scratch that idea, take it to the end. Goodbye, so long, never to be seen again. But then, when will the world come to know? They don't. What's transpired is no more. But the gore, it is gone. No more need to focus on the wrongs. Bless their journey, bless their life. You've already put an end to all that strife. Buried and laid to rest. Follow the universe's behest. Go ahead and puke the lingering disgust. Trust in the Creator is a must. Clear that solar plexus of anything remaining. There is no more space to continue hating. Baby, refill that heart of yours. Make your love runneth over. There is no longer a need for any spiteful disclosure. Let it go. Send it up to Mars rover. The tears, they do not cease. Cry them out. Release, release. Be at peace. Find your own. It's time to clear that sadness from your home. Repeat these words, feeling in the Vatican in Rome. Om Namo, Om Namo, Om Namo, Guru Devil Namo. Sat Nam, my beloved, Sat Nam.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I know that's definitely it's a chant. I think it's one of the Buddhist chants, right? I think Om Namo. I've seen that before, but I wish you could tell us what it means exactly. But thank you for reading it, Imogen. Very beautiful. You did her very well. Very well. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I wanted to cry in here. I love what you said. So this is all about releasing that with the disgust, right? And the pain, kind of like purging it. She used the word, I think, puke. I never really heard that in a poem. That word is so like volatile. It's like, you know, it just I cringe when I hear that word. So but it worked though, you know, like to share what she is suggesting that we do, that we just purge and release all this, right? And kind of go to the faith, turn to our faith, our individual faith, or just our individual peace to help us. And I thought that was really a great message to share. There was a line that she had in there about our home. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to cry there. Oh yeah, clear the sadness from your home. Like, wow. Like, that is just so powerful to say. I mean, it sounds simple, clear the sadness from your home, but it's like with everything that it entails, because our sadness and that, our emotions, we hold on to them like so tightly. Like, it's just like coiled around our arm, like all up around our body. And it's hard to pry it off and be like, or let yourself let go of it, like let all the sadness, let that pain, let the regrets, let that all just leave you, so that you can be free, be a free, beautiful person. Let's see. All right, next poem. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone that's here and listening. This is Marina's poem, The Enchilada Man. I don't know where she's at. Oh, she has 3 in here. We had our last workshop last night, so a lot of these poems are fresh in our minds, like how we reacted and responded to them. So the Enchilada Man. Is anybody ready to read about the Enchilada Man? Sky?
I will. I
Yeah.
love this one. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was
You know,
awesome.
the Enchilada Man. Love is alive through the pandemic. Last night I fell in love with the Enchilada Man. That's what's for dinner dance. Became a duo. The Judds are right. Love is alive at my kitchen table. Every COVID day of the week. He shred the chicken while I prepared the peppers for the sauce. His welding hands dropped tortillas in deep oil with nowhere to go and no knocking on my door. We've learned how to enjoy our home. We've learned how to make time. My muffin man is short and cute. I sing and he pours the batter in the tin. The apron is too long, but the step stool is just right. My banana bread man is lanky and smart. The high school is closed and his band can't meet. So he hums and mixes. My quesadilla man is proud and a bit round. My most macho man of all. He teases and flips, laughs and flips, a wacky rush I've left behind. Time to savor, time to love, time to be.
Yeah.
It's such a fierce poem. I love that poem. Oh my goodness.
Yes, so amazing. And oh my gosh. I love how she says the quesadilla man is round and the most macho of all. I love it. So there was the muffin man, enchilada man, and the quesadilla man. I love it. So Marina, her story is that during pandemic, cooking was her solace, and she was finally able to make time and enjoy her time cooking, because she was she's a teacher. She teaches at a high school. And so she's always so booked. She says she overbooks herself, so she's like moment to moment to moment, busy, and then when she has to cook for the family, she's like and it's not enjoyable. So this is an epiphany for her. This poem is everything, right? It's just awesome. Like these different you can see her watching these guys, these chefs or YouTube videos or maybe folks she knows, and and just it's just awesome. I love it. I like she says we've learned how to make time. I know that was a big deal for her, definitely, that she finally took time just to be. I like this too, that he hums and mixes. That's awesome. Marina.
The way that she intermingles some lines have periods and some lines don't, and she spaces that out. Like she forms a new line, if that makes sense, like halfway through a sentence. So it's almost like two separate thoughts, even though it's the same sentence. And then sometimes she just doesn't put a period, and I really like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a style, definitely. Cool. All right. So I was Marina Cedillo. Woo-hoo. Miss Cedillo. I'm always used to calling her Miss Cedillo because I was a guest poet teacher in her class for a couple years. So I'm like, can I call you Marina? Like it feels, when you're always calling someone like by their last names, you're like, oh, it's because of the respect that's built so much. You're just like, I don't know if I can call you by your first name. Okay. This is also her poem. So I think these next three are okay. Or this next one is another Marina poem. So Michelle, you said you're on the phone, so you can't see. June, would you like to read one of these poems, or is June with us?
I think she had to go.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Juan, would you like to read? And then we'll just go rotate. So we'll rotate again. Yay! This is another Miss Cedillo poem. This is, I think, her yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I actually called her Miss Cedillo too because it was weird calling her by her first name. Actually, yeah, it was. Oh, okay. So here it comes. Beyond the pandemic, beyond the season of winter, solitude, and the wilderness of pandemic life, I will emerge like a poppy pressed into the earth. Spring is upon us, and with it I will come evolved, a hibernating mammal hungry for living. Rabbits will love, fawns will drink, the turtle will be, and I will bask in the sun. For even the mockingbird knows when its nest is done.
Wow.
Yay!
Oh my God. That's so that's like wise. That's like some wisdom, and seriously. I mean, and and with it I will come evolved. Yeah. A hibernating mammal hungry for living. Yeah, so she's saying, the natural kicks in, our natural instinct to survive and to adapt, and we're going to continue moving forward. And I love that even a mockingbird knows when its nest is done. Let's see. We have a Thomas Connor wanting to enter the room. Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll give it a try. Great. I'm all nervous now. I'm like, oh. Grace for Miss Marina Cedillo. Woo-hoo! And I know she doesn't write poetry much at all. And so she was really like, hey, I want to do this and for the healing and just to share. And her last poem is going to be so telling. It's actually the first one in the workshop series about the anger. So we'll get to that poem when it comes up, but wow, it's very painful to hear some of her truth. Okay, so this next letter, it's from one of my best friends that took the challenge to write a letter to 2020, Allison Masson. So I'll like to read her poem or her letter. So this is Dear 2020. This year was rough for many, and it's still hard to believe how drastically everything has changed in less than a year. Despite the change, I was able to find positives and create new opportunities. Although I miss going to concerts and special events, it was really nice to save money by not going out. I was disappointed my vacation plans were canceled, but glad I could make new ones. I miss my friends, as my time with them has been limited, and I wish I could have seen my aunt this summer and visit my mother-in-law as planned next January. Hopefully things will get better and I will be able to visit them in the near future. I really would have liked to set up some vending booths this year. Oh, she has a clothing line. So she's saying she'd really like to set up some vending booths this year, but I found the positive and started setting up Facebook Live Meadow Bay Mayhem home stores, which went really well. My personal positives of 2020 were learning video editing, graphic design, and getting a certificate in personal training. Overall, I really miss the way things were. I feel for those who have lost loved ones and hope that 2021 is better for everyone. Allison Mass. Yeah, that's sweet. I love it. She takes us through, her personal, wins and challenges, and very optimistic, right, about 2021, and it's really a letter, a real letter. So I'm really happy she shared that. Oh, right. Dear 2020, let's see who this one is by. Oh, this is Marina's other poem. Oh, this is the one that was saying that's very heavy. Who would like to read this one? I just read let's see. Who's next in the rotation? I think Imogen. I think you're up next. Or Scotty. I don't know. This one's a sad one.
I can do it.
I can do it. Oh.
Oh, okay. Oh.
If you want to go ahead, Juan.
Sure. I'll go for it. Okay, so here it comes. Dear 2020, this is a love letter to you, like a toxic relationship I write to you. You have brought us all into a collective days of highs, baking, running. Look at me, number choir life. Then I'm sorry. Look at me, hashtag choir life. Then an abrupt, long, heavy weight of immobility. A year of masking and unmasking, racism, hoarding, social isolation, pandemic fear, desperation and frustration. I tell myself I won't despair. I won't go against the most holy high of hope. God, I know that you are with me always, but help me get up. I must. My sons are watching me. My students need me. If I am to love and forgive as I have been loved and forgiven, then 2020, I will love you into submission. Enough. The teaching rod of love need not be used against me. My pastor proclaimed you the year of 20 vision. 2020 vision. The year of clarity and holy purpose suddenly became the year of survival. For whom shall I fear if God is with me? For in darkness I know the Lord is in my joy and my light, and yet in the safety of my home I felt like running away. Surrounded by the loving warmth of my family, I felt trapped. Amongst the vibrant, rowdy health of my sons, I've succumbed to the frustration of homeschool and work. Goodbye to weariness, goodbye to canceled holidays. I miss my friends, I miss my life. New Year is upon us. We almost made it to the end. This tribulation won't end. For Christmas this year, my diabetic elderly mom tested positive. My elderly father tested positive. My diabetic sister tested positive. And yet, I know all will be all right.
Thank you, Juan. Yeah, Miss Marina Cirio, that's in her third poem, and oh my gosh, this was again from the first workshop, right? Confronting the traumas, the fear, the anger, the regrets, and I remember when she wrote this and read it, and we all learned about her parents, and her sister. They all have, COVID. It's just our hearts drop. We want her family to survive and be okay, and all we can do is be positive and hopeful, and but this is real. And I love how she sets this up about this toxic relationship with 2020, right? Because it has to be a love letter, but it's like, how dare you? Like, oh my God, my parents are sick, and like all these things could happen to them and my family. And I mean, this is as real as it gets. I mean, everything you've all written, but I mean, it just, for me personally too, it's heavy. It's so heavy to know, that someone you care about, is facing this. And lots of us are sharing this experience, no, she's not alone. And we're going to hear Michelle's poem too, also, and hers is also very revealing, and very grateful for Michelle and the work that she does too. Okay, the next poem is from Marianne. Okay, so this poem is from a student. I was really happy with with her poem, and I had to get her permission slip and everything. I'm like, I want to include you in this book. And so this is, oh, Imogen, would you mind reading this one?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye, 2020. Goodbye to stressful days. Goodbye to early days. Goodbye to not having any free time. Goodbye, assignment due by 11:59. Goodbye to this bright screen I see all day long. Goodbye to the grading that takes so long. Goodbye to not eating for 7 hours straight. Goodbye, all this crying for this homework that I hate. Goodbye, 5 to 7 hour Zoom calls. Goodbye to it all. Hello, freedom.
Yeah, that was perfect. You read it so perfectly.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
just like you're in high school again. You're like, oh, the homework and studying and yeah, thank you so much. And this is so telling. This is a day in the life of a modern of a COVID-19 pandemic era student, a high school student. She's a 10th grader. So she's about 15 years old. And then the assignment due by 11:59 is the timestamp, like, because now they're just, they submit their homework and it's like, it's due tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. That's how it always is. So it's just like, it's so telling of like what the kids are facing. And I'm also sad to that she's not eating, like that she's a really like, she's really rigorous with her studies, and doesn't step away. She just stays, she's very attentive and everything. But I wouldn't want the students to not eat or not to take care of themselves. Oh, so we have someone else that wants to enter. Do you know anybody named Rohana?
Yes, she just asked me to join.
Okay. Phew. See, I have to make sure. Like they're safe. I'm scared. I hate these Zoom bombers. So terrible.
Right?
I try so fast to like get them out, but then they're like doing their craziness. I guess it's how they're getting by their quarantine times, being rude and obnoxious to others. Welcome, Rohana. Hi. Hi. Yeah, Scotty. Woohoo. It is the party. Yeah. Celebrate good times. Come on. It's 7/22, New Year's Eve of 2020, the most craziest year we've ever lived in our existence. And here we are, poets crossing all the barriers of everything and just being together. So I'm yay, happy for that. Grateful to that. Oh, so sweet. Oh, Scotty, he's like, well, I wouldn't say that for me. He's like, this has been pretty pleasant. Well, no, I'm happy that things have changed and that there's been a lot of positives. I know one of the positives that I really enjoy, because well, hey, no offense to anybody out there, but I do believe in like a socialist society. Like, I think that governments should take care of the people with basic things like education and health and housing and just the basic things that people need to survive, or at least allow them a space or a piece of land so they can build their own home. Like, housing is a human right. I mean, go back to the history of humanity. Like, a human is going to want to shelter themselves from the storm and the cold. It's a natural thing. It's our right. And so I was seeing that change and once the quarantine set in March, and I felt like we were getting taken care of a little bit for that first few weeks or month, but then it all went it was just a one time only, and then it was like but I was like, yay, the sky's getting clear again, the animals are taking over, woohoo. I was one of those. I'm like, yay, there's no traffic in Los Angeles, yay, everyone's home. Or also like, yeah, I get to work at home. Like I liked that idea, but that's just how I feel about that. Hey, welcome to the party, Rohana. Woohoo. All right, let's see. So this next poem, this next 2020 is by, this is Ji Yoon and Anjuna. So remember, those of you that were in the workshops, I was saying, hey, someone from Spain is going to be on this, is going to be joining us or watching this YouTube. This is the mother and daughter. Gion and Anjuna. So this is a very interesting love letter because wow, a very adventurous year it has been for this young girl. Anjuna is 14 years old. Scotty, I'm gonna pick on you. Would you like to read this one?
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Dear 2020, the stars shine brightly in the dark, endless sky, like the twinkle in our eyes as we tell each other stories. For it is New Year's Eve, and next year holds joyful, adventurous. Well, at least that's what I told myself. I could have lived happily with my friends and family in Los Angeles for a year, at least. But then you came along and ruined my year with sadness, frustration, and not a spark of hope. For when I heard of the virus the very first time, it seemed distant and far away. Because I was in Costa Rica, drinking smoothies by the beach, as you and COVID-19 planned on turning the world upside down. Me and my family arrived in Cologne, ready to stay for a while. We had come just as Carnival ended, so Corona was traveling fast. In under a week, we were in lockdown, and me and my brother were driving everyone nuts, while boredom was traveling faster than the virus. Additionally, another world catastrophe took place. May George Floyd rest in peace while we protest against the bad force of the police. Black Lives Matter was chanted all around the world. However, racist comments continued to be publicly spoken. Finally, it was summer break, but it was far more stressful than wanted. We had to move again to an island named Mallorca. It was beautiful and surrounded by clear turquoise waters, but it wasn't Los Angeles. Going to a new school and making new friends while the presidential elections in America were running, 2020 has been busy, adventurous, and frustrating. You are a nightmare dressed as a daydream.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, what do y'all think of that?
I liked that.
Yeah, what an adventure. I mean, but she wants to be back in Los Angeles. I'm like, you're in Mallorca, you're in Cologne, you're abroad, you're Costa Rica, where you miss LA?
Random place, and then it's like, but it's not Los Angeles, and I'm like, why do you want to be here right now? What's going on? It sounds like that's amazing.
I know. Yeah, but she's 14 and she misses, her high school or her life and her friends and everything. And this is such an interesting piece because I wondered if any like U.S. citizens or were stranded outside of the States, like on vacation or whatever, because folks can't come back in here because how many people have we don't have the quarantine, we don't have COVID under control at all. No. So they're just kind of stuck abroad and making a life now, and I guess in Spain. It's just wow, it's so interesting. Just such a adventure. Oh my gosh.
My friends went back to my friend is from Venice, Italy, that I went to college with at LA City College, and his wife is from the Congo.
Wow.
They went to Venice right as everything got really bad here because they have a little 4-year-old daughter, and they were nervous about her being here, and they thought being in Venice near his family would be better. And now they're in the Congo, and they're posting pictures from the countryside in the Congo. It's so beautiful.
Oh my god.
Yeah, really cool to kind of like.
How that's so exciting. I know it's not planned and all, but
yeah.
Wow, like if I were stuck abroad, like, oh no, I can't get back. Oh no, I guess I'm just stuck here for a year now.
Well, apparently some of the countries in Africa have been containing it better because they've already had to deal with like Ebola on a big level.
Right, lots of virus.
Right, so like they were a little bit more apparently prepared. And anyway, I've been following what's happening with them. So yeah, this poem kind of reminded me of that because I keep seeing them like in a different spot because they're not coming back to LA until it's over. And
right, yeah, which could be a while.
It's gonna be a long time.
Gosh, I wish I was stuck over in Europe or Africa or Costa Rica or wow. Gosh, but yeah, it's so exciting and interesting, and I'm like, oh, just to know how the quarantine has affected her, and And I imagine you have to have a little bit of cash flow to kind of, boot your, continue keep your momentum in these different countries. But or maybe it's not as bad. I don't know. Yeah.
Being 14, like I can't imagine. Like I'm 46, so it's like being trapped in the motel room with a view of downtown isn't so bad because I'm watching Bob's Burgers and I have folks with like.
Yeah, I love Bob's Burgers.
My life isn't like I'm a little bit okay with that, but I can't imagine even if it was like 5 years ago, I would have been like, "What do you mean? Like, I want to be out. I want to be doing stuff." It's like,
yeah,
I'm glad I 46 and.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from her poem is saying that their boredom is traveling faster than the virus. I was like, that's a good line. That's awfully bored. Jeez. They're like, can we leave this room, please? Oh man. And then her we're drinking smoothies at the beach. It's like, oh my God, okay. That sounds pretty lovely. Like, how is this bad? Yay. Awesome. Thank you for reading this. So great. Also, I'm getting word from some of our guests that are here with us. You definitely can share a piece. So Thomas, if you want to go ahead and read it, you can read it now, and then we'll come back to this next poem.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just wrote it, so it's new shit. I mean, new stuff. Sorry, that slipped out. New stuff. Dear 2020, thanks for strengthening me. Balancing me, your scales of correction took me in directions that broke me down into sections. Slaughtering my concept of strength. Bench pressing another unexpected death, I failed to witness mom's last breath. Slowly, as she slid into history, her death no longer a mystery, now just my reality. I yearned for one more bus trip to Brooklyn, head pressed against the glass, past Valencia, Botanicas, buying Agua Florida, Arnica. Mi mamá era curandera, but she couldn't heal herself. A healer with a healer with salves and ointments. Her appointments always lasted, and they came with conversations and bochinche. Mira, la muchacha que fue, la muchacha que fue lo que dijo la muchacha. Mi mamá era jodena, pero bella. Remembering my hand in hers, scurrying to the marqueta to buy cilantro, y rabo, y latas de crema de coco, her favorite dish. Reminiscent of 2019, the sun gleamed bright, her light, wanting to scream, but her ears could only hear eternity, like almost a year earlier when Dad took his last breath.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow, Thomas. Oh my God. Thank you so much. That was fresh, huh? That was good.
Thank you.
That was deep. That was
just
deep.
Finished writing it.
Right on time. Right on time.
Yes.
Oh,
My mother passed.
That was beautiful. And my condolences to you. That was very beautiful. To capture such an important moment. I am blessed to still have my mom, but like I don't know, it made me sad to think about losing her. But that's been in my mind this whole year. But I if there's something worth writing for, is that.
Absolutely.
So that was beautiful.
I just wrote it. I started listening to you guys' stories, and I said, you know what did 2020 mean to me? And it was, my mother passed away early in February. She battled non-Hodgkin's lymphoma valiantly, as best as she could. And unfortunately, it won. And she went to go be with my father, who died a year earlier.
Oh.
So they were married for 62 years. Yeah, wow. He had Parkinson's. He was 90. Yeah, he was 90. So he lived a full life. My mother passed away at 84. He was a few years older than her.
Yeah.
So they were like, 7 years apart. So, when he died, I could see the light literally leave her eyes because they were in love with each other from the minute 62 years is 62 years. Long
That's a
time.
lot of time. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I used to be married. I don't think I can do 26 hours of being married again. So, I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah. Listen, I said I don't think. I'm not buying into it just yet. But you know, I'm a little punch drunk. So you know,
You're like, eh.
I'll take it down. Yes, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I had to share that. I just wrote it. I heard you guys, and I just went into it. And once I lock into a zone, like right now, like right after this, I'm gonna jump on an open mic at the New York Poets Cafe, which is the legendary New York Poets Cafe that started. Yes, as you know, Miguel Algarin, the owner and founder of the New York Poets Cafe, passed away 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
We're celebrating. Yeah, he was the first person that brought spoken word poetry to New York, and it's incredible. So he started it out of his living room, right? He was a brilliant man. He was a college professor. He had degrees from Binghamton and NYU and the University of Minnesota. He was Boricua and Hispano.
Yeah.
So that was something that I took the pride in. Yeah, he was Miguel Algarin, and he fought, and now his legacy is now that the New York Poets Cafe is a landmark in New York. It's a landmark. It's protected.
All right.
And I had the pleasure of performing there a couple of times. I was shaking when I first went there because that's where all the the brown berets, all the brown berets, all the famous poets from New York, from California, from everywhere would come down. So I performed there twice, and it was actually, I performed once, and then my niece pushed me because my niece is also a poet.
Oh, good.
Her name is Karina G. Lowe. Yeah, she followed in my footsteps, but she's a better poet than I am. But anyway.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And
yeah,
so
that's
I'm
gonna
promote her book. It's called Live. Yeah, I'm gonna promote her book for her. It's called Live Big Girl. She's a big girl, so it's basically loving your body, right? She's a thick girl, and society does not embrace thick women. So it's called Live Big Girl, and I actually performed it at the Governor's Island. I performed a piece at the Governor's Island ball where she had the Live Big Girl stage, and because I used to be a lot heavier, and I decided to just get healthy because once coronavirus hit New York, it hit really early, much earlier than people are telling you. So once I work in healthcare. Yeah, I work in healthcare, so I was aware of the fact that it was out there already. I'm a patient coordinator, and I lost a few friends already to corona because of the work that we do.
Wow.
So I immediately started to so I she chose me as the one big boy because it's all big girls, right? Live Big Girl. So I was the big boy. So I did a little piece there, and so she's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you
put her link, the book link in the chat.
Yes, I will. Live Big Girl. It's for anyone who is thick, is heavy set. I love Latinas that are thick. I don't like, when I order when I order chicken, I like the thickness, right? So to me, I think that's beautiful. But there's people in society that don't find that beautiful.
Yeah, it's the colonial, that colonization. The colonial lens is through the white folks, and Caucasian women are wafy. That's where they're, that's just their natural body, and other types of women aren't naturally like or narrow. We got curves.
Right. So to anyone out there that's robust and big and thick, and love yourself. At one point in time, I was 400 pounds and I was still pulling women. So it didn't even matter. It's all about who you are.
Yeah,
it's all about what you want, what you bring to the table. And my weight loss was a result of health. Not that I have any pre-existing health conditions, but I was watching colleagues of mine that were overweight dying from coronavirus. So that kind of, that plus, I started to build my immune system. Yeah, so there's value in it.
Definitely.
I only did it for like I said, for health reasons. I didn't want to get I I didn't want to contract COVID-19. My sister just finished beating COVID-19. My whole family's in healthcare. My whole family's in healthcare.
Wow.
My whole family. My sister is an assistant director for Northwell Health. My other sister runs my cousin's clinic. My cousin's a doctor, and I myself am a patient coordinator and a medical biller. And so we're all in healthcare. So we're all exposed daily.
Frontline. Gosh.
It's real out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the front lines, and you know, all we can do is try to keep ourselves healthy. I love this platform. If you do it again, I'll come back and I'll
we always
something else. This one's pretty quick.
Definitely, we're always here for you. Check out LEPoetSociety.org, LE Poet Society, and we do about 15 events a month,
awesome.
Like different types of things, open mics, workshops, meditations, and
awesome.
Yeah, I love
awesome.
Your
I love
poetry.
it. Listen.
Yeah, let's stay connected.
You want me to do one more? Yeah,
sure.
If you want me to do one more,
Let's hear it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
New York in the house, man.
I'm a little bit of. So this one is called In Memoriam. In Memoriam, I can't breathe. I'm trapped, dragged, snagged under your knee, pinned, locked, unable to breathe. I beg, I struggle, I cry, I plead. Please, 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 I can't breathe. Your weight on my neck for 5 centuries, 8 minutes to eternity. I feel myself leave. I cough, I choke, I beg, I heave. Please, 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 I can't breathe. I hear my ancestors scream and grieve. I pray for salvation of any variation. I feel the damnation of this damnation. My death on every station. I feel my heart racing. I hear my neck break, struggle to crawl. I can hear my kids bawl. I twist and turn, locked in your yoke. I beg, plead, please, 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 I can't breathe. Your knee on my neck for another 5 centuries, mocking Kaepernick while slowly killing me. To you, I'm a pariah, a cop locker room joke. And one swift thunder, the world heard my neck broke, shattered and tattered like the limbs on trees, swaying in the wind, that southern breeze. Still hear my ancestors moan and grieve. Your southern plantations, torturing and killing us in all variations, witnessing my death on every single station. For George Floyd, for George Floyd, for George Floyd.
Definitely for George Floyd.
I can't breathe.
Dang, oh, you got that on the shirt. Yep. Yeah, that's so powerful. That was heavy too. Wow. I like righteous.
That was beautiful, man. That was so on.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, that was definitely, it was
thank you.
impactful. Definitely. And yeah, we just dedicate all of our love to George Floyd and our, brothers and sisters that have been killed by cops. That's the other
absolutely. It's
pandemic here. Yeah,
it's a pandemic everywhere. Black and brown folk, we're dying. I'm black and brown. My father was from Belize, which is why my last name is Connor. And my mother was from Honduras, Centroamericana. So
yes,
so I'm literally black and brown. I'm literally black and brown. But Belize is known as British Honduras. Yeah. So my father spoke Spanish. And then him talk like this, like he West Indian, because he was from Belize. So it's kind of like his culture was,
Yeah,
so
I love
it. When he spoke English, you thought he was Jamaican. You thought he was Jamaican, but he spoke pure Castellano because Belize is one of those countries that are, it's like Panama, right?
Yeah.
The influence comes from Jamaica, from the West Indies, because it was the slave trade that kind of, congealed all that together, right? Congealed all of that together. Yeah. So my father was literally personified Afro-Latino. He was, when you hear that, think of my father, Afro-Latino. And my mother, she was a traditional Hondureña.
Curandera. So, I love that line that you said.
Yes, curandera, yeah. And I have cousins that are half Mexican and half Honduran as well. So, they live in California, actually. They live in Los Angeles. Cousins. Yeah, they came to visit when my mother passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been promising them to go over there to visit.
Yeah.
I've been promising to go there for a while. I've been
Yeah.
promising. I've been promising. I haven't
But-
been there in years.
Oh, so you have a home here. LA Poet Society's got your back, and we want to see more of you.
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
You're a great poet, and thank you for joining us. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I love this platform. Peace and blessings to everyone. May you all stay safe. And I gotta go jump on. Yes, I gotta go jump on. I just told I gotta go jump on.
New Rican Cafe. I love it. New Rican Poet Cafe.
Yes, you can if you're on if you're on Facebook, which I'm pretty sure you are, just put in New Rican Poets Cafe and it'll be streaming live as well.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
you might see me.
Oh,
you might see
okay.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds good, Thomas. We'll see you again next time. Thank you for sharing. And oh my God, I'm so happy that you were inspired from the love letters prompt to just go with that and write that love letter for your mom. And
yes.
and I'm happy to know that at least you were by her side. I feel one of the saddest things with COVID is that our loved ones, like if they are, if they're dying, like they can't be with family. No one can be there. That is such I feel inhuman thing to
I know.
leave you alone and just
well, that's
pobrecitos,
right.
It's so sad.
So I'm a conspiracy theorist and a fellow commie just like you. So I'm going to tell you my theory on this, right? So I think it's population control on another level. Now, what am I saying by that? So we as humans are connective, right? We're connective. So the best way so divide and conquer mentality comes into play. We see more violence, right? They let people out of the jails. Now obviously they had to let people out of jail because COVID was running rampant. But then on top of that, they add in the social distancing. So people are now paranoid. Really? We have to remain socially distant because I don't want to contract COVID. And if someone gets too close, get away from me. And then all of a sudden, a fight, right? And then throw into the elixir felons that are now walking the street, right? That are now, listen, there aren't too many cops out here. Nobody wants to catch COVID. So now the crime starts to ramp up, right? So now with all that in the mix, that's a great way to try to instill almost, because it almost happened here. If it wasn't for Cuomo, Mr. Trump wanted to go ahead and send in the National Guard. Oh, right. Dang. And if it wasn't for martial law. And thank God, right, exactly. But that was the ideology that they had in place. They knew that was going to happen. They wanted to. It was like almost payback for having Barack Obama for 2 years, for two sessions, right? Or two. Two terms. I forget. 2 terms. There you go. I lost my frame of thought, and that's what I felt like, right? And it's true. It really is, because New Yorkers, we're tough, just like Californians. I call California New York West because I have a lot of family out there. You guys, we're pretty much, we have that same tenacity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're the mix.
My cousins. Yes. My cousin's crazy. I know. My cousins over there are crazy. I know it. So
it's not Billy. Your cousin's name's not Billy, is it? Billy?
No, my cousin,
there's an amazing poet. He's also from Belize. He's here in LA, Billy Burgos. And I was like, I wonder if you related.
Probably through my father. My father was one of those people that once he got his own personal family, he kind of just didn't bring in his extended family. He was one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just not out of malice. Just my father was just a very unique individual. He spoke 7 languages. He was a Renaissance man. To identify my father, to define him, I would say he was a Renaissance man. He was very. He loved jazz. I actually wrote a piece for him called "My Father Loved Jazz."
Oh, nice.
Yep, my father loved jazz. I love hip hop, so therefore I am the evolution of his sonic consciousness, blending melodies and beats, rhythms and riffs, scats and flows, flowing in droves. His hats, his clothes, smooth as those grooves that made him move, those Elletonian grooves. His Harlem nights were my Brooklyn daydreams. So to me, forever, he will be Thelonious John and Ella. How I wished I was part of his era. 9 years old, bobbing my head to the notes that moved him as he sung, recited, hummed, hymned those riffs. They were his gospel. If jazz was his God, he would have been his apostle. My father loved jazz. I love hip hop. Therefore, I am the evolution. I am the institution of my father's sonic consciousness.
Drop that. Bam. That was awesome. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was.
Bringing
my
the
son ever
party
wrote
here. I
something like
love
that.
it. That was awesome. Oh, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
I want to see you again, brother. I really do. I
We
hope
will.
we can connect again.
We
And
will,
I think
sister.
you emailed us, so I got your email. So I'll be bugging
Yes,
you.
you do. Yes, you do. No, you can keep bugging me. You can keep bugging me. I love the arts. I love the fact that that you're Latina and like me, I'm an Afro-Latino, and we need to support each other more. Not just through the arts, but just through ideology, through connection, through history. You know, yeah, my grandmother was actually of Mayan descent, just so that you can know my father's mother was of Mayan descent.
Oh,
So
right.
I'm about to get this giant Mayan tattoo on my left arm. I have other tattoos, but this one is going to be huge, and it's to honor my father's memory and my grandmother's memory. So with that being said, I got to jump on to another set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Blessings,
Thank you
love,
once
be
again.
safe.
Thank
you
you
for joining us tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Happy New Year.
No, thank you for allowing me to join you guys. And Happy New Year. Blessings and peace to all. Blessings and peace. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so
I appreciate
much.
that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sister. Peace, everyone. Peace, and never give up.
Never.
And never forget.
Never.
Never forget.
Never forget. No
Peace.
way. Love you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. You will.
All right. Oh, that was amazing. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna screen share. I know. What a treat. That was wonderful. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Thomas Connor. All right. I'm glad to have met him, and we all got to meet him. That was so cool. Righteous. Okay. Wow, he has awesome energy. I'm just like, oh, I want to hide here. All right. Well, let's get back to our chapbook. We're here celebrating the release of Love Letters to 2020. I think it's so amazing that someone joined us and was vibing with what we're doing today and like went ahead and wrote something, in the theme of this book, of this chapbook, and shared, and I think that's wonderful. Okay, so this next poem is by Esmeralda Melgosa, and she's someone also that took or watched the YouTube and wrote a piece. I guess I'll go ahead and read this one, and then we'll continue our rotation of everybody sharing a piece. Or actually, Michelle, I want to bring you up. Actually, we'll come back to Esmeralda. So that was page 23. Just because we haven't got to hear your beautiful voice, and
oh, thank you.
So I'm gonna go to your page, and I know that you can't see it, but at least we'll be able to read it or see, follow along as you read it. So this is Michelle Smith, everyone, and here's her poem, or her love letter to 2020.
Okay, dear 2020, you gave me an opportunity to work to become a CNA, and my employment is considered essential work. I am a COVID-19 cave or camp with illness increasing, with residents becoming sick every day. Tirelessly, as much as possible, I attempt to keep the germs away. My PPE is a friend in blue or yellow. More than a mask, it is donned from head to toe. Please go away, coronavirus, and let the wind storm just blow.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so discouraging. Unfortunately, I do work at an assisted living facility with seniors. The average age is 85. There are more than 70 of them. I work on the first and second floor of both, and we found today that 5 more people are with the virus. So therefore, it's increasing, and I'm not happy with it. We know that in Los Angeles City and County, it's increasing daily. It's sad, and I was passing by, helping with another resident, and I heard someone talking to my family saying, the earshot. Well, your mother has the virus, and we wanted to call you, let you know this is so and so from so and so, and this is what occurred. And I won't even imagine being on the other end of that phone call, knowing that my mother and her father, my elder one, has a situation. And in the conversation, he's saying, I couldn't tell what the conversation was on the other end of the phone, although that could be a poem in itself, asking whatever he had, whatever was asked of him. She says, "Well, we don't know how it has occurred, but our residents are isolated, and they've been isolated for 2 weeks. So now there's a concern with, what do you do with your parent? It's like you're in a holding cell, a holding pattern, because you can't take them out. You take them out, where they're going to go? How they're going to heal at your house? Because you can bring that coronavirus to your place, your home, and your parents are getting older, right? I mean, to me, COVID-19 is an equal opportunity destroyer. It's not discriminate against anybody. It is an illness that creeps up upon you, young or old. We know the disparities of all people of color, especially black and brown. We see that disparity in Los Angeles City and County and everywhere in this nation. And it's discouraging to read about how people of color are being treated because of their his or her color versus their condition and what another doctor may say. I read stories on Facebook and on Time and other places and other news outlets where via the web where it's hurtful, and I've got to watch myself because I can't bring that home to my home because life goes on. So therefore, it makes you wonder how this is going to get any worse. I mean, it's going to get worse before it gets better. We all know that the immunizations or the vaccines, there's 3 of them, right? Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and some other one called Morena, I think from Germany. Those are not effective enough. Like 100% vodka. I want mine to be 100%. Not no 90% with so-called ill effects. We didn't know us. And see, you two have children, right? Their immune systems are growing and developing. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm a wise hen. So therefore, I know what's best for me versus other people. And then, I'm an essential worker. I'm on that tier 2 of getting that first dibs on that shot. But the question is, it's like a holding pattern or seesaw or imbalance. Do I want it? Yes or no? Where I work at, it is suggested, not mandatory. And the thing is this: if I get an ill effect, what's going to happen to me in my life? How's that going to my health conditions? How's that going to complicate or improve my life? Because regardless of all that, like my sister said to me once, you're in lines then. I said, well, I understand that. And I understand your opinion. And I've got friends of mine saying, do you really want to work in that place? Are you sure you want to do that? Think about your family. Think about your friends. I'm thinking, I am thinking about my family. I'm thinking about my friends. I have to survive. And economically, I cannot just sit back and get an unemployment check. I have skills in which I can utilize for people. And I'm not, to help people. And I know I'm in this frontline battle every day. But at the same time, I will protect myself. So what do? When I get home, I I take I make sure my shoes are sanitized. I have a spray bottle with a water mixture. Spray those shoes. Leave them outside the door. I put them on outside before I walk out the door to go to work. The clothes I have, I take them off, put them in a bag, go upstairs, shower, and relax and be good for another day of work.
Right.
I don't.
That's that big balance you got to try. I mean, that's so hard. It's like one misstep, it could cost you everything.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, where we work at, there are 5 now, currently 5, who've been hit with that virus, and 5 of them are in isolation. And so eventually, these residents are going to need to be the residents who are sick with the virus are going to have to be in another section. It's like being in jail or prison. Well, I wouldn't know about either one, but you have your worst offenders, people, solitary, and that kind of stuff. Plus, other people well, gee, do I really want to live with this person? I mean, these people are older. The people, their average age, like I said, is 80 to 85 years old. So therefore, what's their thinking now? What are they going to do?
Yeah, it's so sad.
It is sad, and this is. I mean, where I work at, Doesn't matter if you work at a assisted living facility or a convalescent hospital or a SNF, which is known as a nursing, which is known as a skilled nursing facility or convalescent hospital, convalescent home, or nursing home. It's all, no matter how much you pay, how much you how much is paid per month for you to be there. It's the same thing in common. You have people who are either sick, shut in, seniors, and people who can either ambulate or walk versus being in bed and can't walk. And it's just, I call it a holding pattern because what are they going to do? What are the children going to do? They're adult children. This is a conglomerate of a situation. And that's why I look at it like, you have to be vigilant and diligent about your health, period. We know how people can be, oh, well, it's okay. I'll throw my mask on the street. Like, whatever the poem called masks, okay? And that's just so careless. On the other hand, we cannot, as human beings who are outside who do not have COVID-19, we cannot afford to be careless. We have to be vigilant and diligent for our health. Because if not, we all know this is not a drill. This is not some kind of well, let's see what happens next time. No, there is no next time. Now.
Right.
It's a
we
shame.
might not live for a next time, and then we don't want to go through this again. We wanted to.
Oh, it's horrible. And
squash this,
Yeah, and like I said before, truly, what I've learned, even before I was hired at this place, COVID-19 is an equal opportunity destroyer. For it does not discriminate against anybody. Anybody can get this. Anybody, young, old, color, ethnic group.
Yeah.
It's all over the nation. It's all over the world. It's horrible.
Be a human, and you can get it.
Yeah, it's really bad out there, And we have to go forward with this. And remember that. Take care of your own. Self-preservation is the first thing of nature, right? We must. And I feel sad for people who are in group homes or people who are between 18 and 59 years old or 16 above who live at adult residential facilities or residents for the chronically fragile and elderly, because those are maximum 6-bed facilities, and you have caregivers, CNAs, or DSPs, which are direct support professionals, or personal or PCAs, personal direct care staff, rather DCAs, direct care staff, who have a smaller situation. But we too, no matter what environment you work at, you risk yourself every day working with them. And unfortunately, I know where I work at, it's going to increase. It's going to unfortunately, in my opinion, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And then this is tomorrow, next year, New Year, right? I want to know whether we know about the vaccine, the lack of effectiveness versus the effectiveness of it, and side effects.
Yeah.
It's heard recently this week in Colorado, it's another strain that came from the UK, and it came from and Colorado has it where the strain's more stronger.
Oh no.
Oh, you didn't know about that? Oh.
No, I had heard about the UK, like that there was, a mutation, but I didn't know that it came over here already. I think.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Dang.
Oh. And like wildflowers can be everywhere eventually. I mean, we cannot. I mean, I just know that we cannot. It's easy to get depressed about this. It's easy to put yourself like an artist, put your head in the sand and just exist that way. To turn off rather than turn on.
Right.
Because COVID-19 has affected everybody in many ways. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physiologically. Who knows how many people have died, like Mr. Connor said earlier, or situations where things have happened. I know a family right now. 15 of them were at Thanksgiving gathering, right? 12 out of 15 got COVID.
Oh my God.
Youngest is 3. The oldest one the oldest 2 were her parents. And my friend and her family, her son was in the hospital for 5 days with pneumonia and COVID. She was in the hospital for 6 days with pneumonia and COVID. And her husband his symptoms were not as severe as those 2 were. And then the daughter had it, and the other son got it, and the 3-year-old
wow
also received it. So sadly, it was COVID free, but the mother who's a friend of ours. So you know, this hits everybody so differently.
Yeah.
And like I said, where I work at, I'm not doing hand care on. I'm not doing hand care on these people who are sick with COVID. And I told them, I said I can't because my health. I said I'm too old. I'm a fat chick. I mean, obese means you're more risk anyway. So don't put me in that lines. Then taking care of the other residents who are, you know, who are isolated, but meaning that they're in their own rooms and they can go out versus people who go and help them from their shifts.
Yeah.
Do it. And I said, if I had to walk off and quit, I don't want to quit. But I told you, I cannot do the patient care of somebody and do this for myself to work with one on one. But I
Right.
in other aspects, and I have done this before when it happened in September. I mean in spring when I did work, I'm doing agency, and I did have hands on with COVID when it first
Oh
came
wow.
in the winter and spring, and
Yeah.
I did the same that I'm doing now, and I just think and I did the nasal and the oral swabs and everything, and I have not ever, through the grace of God, had COVID.
Thank God. Yeah, definitely. Gosh, I know that's so risky. I mean, and that's why like we give you and frontline workers like yourself just so much love and credit because you're in front of it. You're in front of it. You're like next, you know, people that really are sick are not far,
And
you
this,
know, from where
yeah,
you're at.
and this
And
right now, that's sad.
so
That's true.
scary.
That I've seen where I know that it's gonna hit them eventually. You can look at their faces. You can look at how they look. You can see, and when you're older, I mean, anybody can have health situations, but when you're old, your health conditions and your age are more cons than pros. I mean, they
Right.
they just are, and not that I'm necessarily saying you have to be old and get more sick, but you're more vulnerable. We're all vulnerable. So just remember those things because you two have beautiful children, and I'm a mom myself,
Oh,
and
yeah,
um,
you're so sweet. Yeah.
uh, um, you know, we love our babies no matter what age they are.
Yeah. I know they'll always be your baby. That's what I hear.
You know, our
Um,
children are priceless and precious, you know. But anyway,
yeah.
that's my spiel on that. But sadly, we you know we have to do better for ourselves because we can see in this country or in LA enough, it's getting worse. You hear
Yeah.
every
It's
day in the news the rise, the increase, and blah 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 blah, and how LACUSC has 8 hours of people who are waiting 8 hours to be seen by somebody. That's a shame. I
eight
mean,
hours to be
yeah,
seen.
LACUSC to see somebody like that. That means if you are a person who's a patient in the county LACUSC system,
Uh-huh.
wait that long. That's horrible. Nobody should have to do that. This
Yeah, like you could die in that time, 8 hours.
this
Jesus.
nation deserves universal health care. The Obama Act should still be in existence, but I'm sure it's going to be with Biden. And we deserve better care, period. Because
Yes, we do.
no matter what color you are, ethnic group, American or foreign born, um, illegal or not, undocumented or not, we all deserve that same health care because we're human people and we deserve the same type of insurance because nobody should have to be, well, you have this, so therefore you're not in this section. You live in this
Ah.
zip code. You shouldn't be determined by a zip code. You
Oh my
shouldn't
God, that's the most ridiculous thing. The way they turn
shouldn't
you away because you don't live nearby.
exactly. You shouldn't be determined by a zip code because we live. So therefore, oh, because you live in this code, which is this zip code. Well, we know what you're all about.
Wow.
And it's sad, you know.
That's outrageous. That's really, really
True,
sad.
right? Isn't that true? It's
Yeah.
and it's very sad. And this country has got to do better with health care. And it shouldn't be so expensive. But as you get older, it's more like life insurance. The older you are, the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
people, you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a Michael Kors purse. I'm gonna get some from Louis Vuitton. No, you better. I'm gonna buy some Michael Jordans or some what's in the group some Juicy Couture. No, you better buy yourself some insurance, life insurance, and eventually get that insurance in case something happens to you, because life isn't promised.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Yeah. Dang.
know?
That's real. I know it's real. I mean, I appreciate you telling us this and you know, I know lots of folks are trying, you know, they're trying their best to be safe, but you know, a lot of people, they slip up, or you know, or we want to like try and do something that we used to do or feel comfortable or whatever it is that we justify our action. But I think it's important that we hear from the front line, you know, and I've seen the videos of the nurses, and you know, and it's so painful and sad, like because they're seeing death up close so much. And you know, or just people that are so sick, you know, and for a lot of folks, it's, well, at least in that video, the RN says, you know, this is like the sickest people I've ever seen in my, you know, my whole career being a nurse, or and it's just so devastating. But that urgency to want to help people or to, you know, be of service.
And the same, you know, you're putting yourself at risk also, and these frontline workers, you know, we and they, you can also become sick. And I feel lousy for the I first of all, I admire all my the coworkers that I have who are in the patients' rooms, who take care of them. I mean, the residents' rooms, because they're there for 8 hours. It's one on one, and they eventually do the shift and stuff like that. And you know, I just said to myself, you know, God be with them, because I mean, God be with both of them, but especially the ones who have to go home, because I hope they're getting an increase in their salary. I hope they're getting housing pay. I hope they're getting better things for taking a risk, because it is a risk versus what I'm doing. I'm helping the ones who are not sick, but eventually it's like the domino effect. It's gonna, you know, when this house of cards collapses and the dominoes fall down, then what? And then what happens? This place, I mean, my concern is what's gonna happen if it gets any worse before it gets better? And how do you separate? I mean, you're gonna separate these people who are ill, right? But at the same time, how many more people are gonna get ill? And when is this vaccine gonna happen for our facility? And another thing is, who's going to take it, who's not going to take it, because you opt not to do it, versus where you will do it, but it has side effects. And which one of those three physical coverages are you going to choose?
Right.
You know, and that's, you know, and I've seen on Facebook where you get the COVID-19 trial study, right? But does that trial protect you? Is it better for me to do that versus going to my employer? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to have an ill effect where I have a feverish and I feel like crap and I can't go to work because I got a freaking shot, and then oh my god, I feel like SHIT, and oh, I'm gonna go to work. No, I can't because I'm sick. I feel terrible. What are you gonna do? I know how many hours I have, COVID hours, not sick hours, but COVID hours that I have in case something were to happen to me. And that's just for COVID only. But at the same time, yeah. So at the same time, I'm thinking honestly that if I have my way, I think my worker should be unionized. That's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least with a union will protect you with things that
They will.
yeah. And I have another employment. I do work at through IHSS also in home supportive services. Well, that is union. So you know, I'm having more support than that aspect. I mean, they're both supportive. At least in my job, this at the facility, we do get. I got 2 COVID tests this week. You know, I got one today, then I got one on Tuesday. So every Tuesday it's going to be mandated or mandatory. Well, all of us have to do a nasal swab test. And apparently, when you are working at the end of your week, the last day, you're going to get that also. But see, and then you're not being told if you know the saying, you know, no news is good news, right? So if you don't hear anything, that's what
then you know you're not sick.
See, that's not. I don't like that time I'm taking. I don't like that. You know, I want. You know, I don't like that.
Tell me, oh, you're negative. Oh, thank you.
I've been hanging on a string. I mean, I don't like that. You know, and all these things can be poetic too. But this is how it is. And like Thomas Connor said, he and his family in healthcare, right?
Yeah.
And interesting. You know, so I'm telling you, this is it's like a pendulum back and forth,
Right.
You know, and ebb and flow. You know, so
I wish. I know there's gonna be an end at some point of all this. And
man, when your children become 20 years old, both of your babies.
Oh God, not that long from now. Wow.
No, I'm not. I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is that when are we going to see? When are we going to see the end of the tunnel? When are we going to see that happening? I don't know, and I'm very much concerned. I'm glad that my son, as I mentioned to you before, he's 34 years old and autistic, that he's not one who's in school from pre-K to high school, because he would have missed fun stuff in high school. The studying, the Zoom. I mean, he's had classes through trade check and LAUSD classes, and he likes Zoom. But I'm just grateful that this didn't happen when he was in school. I mean, I'm not having COVID-19, but I'm grateful he was out of school, because
Yeah.
structure and learning, and that's important. The wheels of the bus go around and around the buses. So that is a thing that people with disabilities, especially the students, are used to seeing a bus, and then you don't see that bus for a long time. My son had to adjust for three. I should have wrote this in a poem too. Love letters. That the adjustment for 3 weeks. I showed my son for 3 weeks, literally, that you couldn't go to LA Trade Tech anymore. And what happened was that I took him to LA Trade Tech, and he saw the sign saying March 30th. That's March 30th, 2020. LA Trade Tech will be closed until further notice. And I took him to the Jack in the Box near our neighborhood, and the Jack in the Box has the nerve, and they still have the nerve. You cannot go in that Jack in the Box and order food, like pay for it in cash, at a cashier, unless you have a car. So I showed him literally the window, and I said to the gentleman, "Please tell my son he can't order food, and why." My son, we've been customers for a long time, and he said because of the coronavirus. And he says, and I said, listen, he said, well, I'll go outside and show your son the sign. And yeah, please do, because my son needs to know that from you rather than me. And coming from you, because you have a uniform on, please show him that information. So we did. The gentleman came out there and said, we're not able to serve people in the restaurant because of the virus. People have to have a car. And what car has been like careless? So therefore, we don't have a car. So I said, well, we'll have to go to another restaurant, another Jack in the Box, but we can go somewhere else. Where do we go? So we did find a restaurant later on that week that actually had a restroom to go to, because I said to my son, I said, if you need to go to the restroom, you're gonna find a restaurant with two places: the grocery store, the hospital, or police department. Because they cannot discriminate against anyone going to the restroom, and you're gonna be shopping and are getting help, or you're going to get some services. So that helped, and that eventually helped them to realize about the coronavirus, and that helped them to realize that people were ill. But what hurt me also about this, that's for both of us, is that we can't go swimming. My son was swimming 3 days a week,
Oh, right. Yeah, the pools are
and
closed.
no pool. My baby has not been my son has not been in a pool since March 7th this year. I have not done water aerobics since February, and look, I miss all that. We miss swimming and water aerobics. So therefore, that's something that was bothersome. No more Planet Fitness, no more no more place we can go to a nightclub or go dancing or Zumba unless you watch Zoom. So that's helpful now. But
Yeah.
this pandemic is turning everything upside down. Everything. I don't know where swimming pool's at. Where I can go, hey, hello, can we swim for your pool for an hour or so? I don't know anybody has a swimming pool.
Yeah.
I wish I did. But these are frustrations to me. And that
Yeah, you definitely need to write your love letter, the angry one. That was the first workshop when we were all releasing the anger and the regret and the disgust, like how dare you, and
yeah,
to let it out in that way. And yeah.
I will. But when this is all said and done on YouTube, I'm gonna capture everything I've said and do that. And you can have much to say.
Yeah, no, we'd love to see your poems and like get it all like honed
Thank
in.
you.
Yeah,
But
thank you for sharing and telling us, about how it is there on the front line, and just, your thoughts too on, how to take care of yourself, when you're facing. So
yes, we do, because if you don't have self care, you're not aware. I mean, you must have self care, because that makes a difference also. Because we cannot allow our own staircase to spiral down, right? Especially with mothers, I mean fathers too, but the saying that goes like this: our father's work is done under the sun, but a mother's work is never done. Right?
Yeah.
So those are my perspectives. So thank you.
Wisdom. Thank you, Michelle. Let's hear it for Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're here for you, sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And happy New Year. It's 8. Let's finish our love letters. We have I think we have 5 or 6 left.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, we're all here in community together. We're here sharing. I mean, we have the shared experience of this pandemic, and like it affects us all differently, but all of us in the same way too. And the fact that we have no control. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
And we're all, vulnerable to the virus.
Right.
But so I want to go on to the next poem in the set, and yeah, I think we have about 5 or 6 more. And so this is a poem from Esmeralda Melgosa. So she again, so we had recorded them on YouTube, so some folks watched them and wrote. So this is one of those. So Juan, do you want to read this one from Esmeralda?
Yeah, sure. I'll read it. I breathe through the wounds, addicted to the toxic elixir Act 2. I am no longer blind. Decline the feeling of being defined, not mentally deranged, but emotionally drained, not unpleasant inside, just filled with things that mortify. I touch the rose thorn and battle blatantly tune me into the object of scorn. They call it life, they call of love. Whatever it is, I want none of. I said what I said. It is what it is.
Wow. Thank you, Juan. Dang, I hope you're not talking about me. Oh boy. No, that. Thank you so much. So Esmeralda, so definitely I breathe through the wounds. Gosh, the toxic elixir I consume. So
I love her lines. Definitely love that. That not mentally deranged, but emotionally drained, not unpleasant inside, just filled with things that mortify. I love that.
the
the
rhyme.
cadence of that.
Yeah, the inside and the mortify. The slant rhyme. That's what we teach in the poetry classes. Like there's the direct rhymes and the slant rhymes. But yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. It almost makes me wonder if she might have survived COVID, or if she's talking about coronavirus, or maybe she was talking about a person. But thank you, Esmeralda. I haven't met her. I think she heard about it through our Instagram. So thank you for writing. Thank you for sharing and being a part of this chapbook. All right, how's everybody doing out there? Woo woo! Celebrate good times. Come on. I'm gonna change my hat. I had my crown. I was over it already. I got my orange hat on. Okay, so this next poem is from, this is another Esmeralda poem. Imogen or Scotty, would you want to read it?
Sure, I'll read it.
Oh, okay, great.
Remove my God-given right to provide food for my family, just so we can exist happily. Write down the narrative of a marginalized group about the times they couldn't work for food. What about the days they toiled unpaid without any lunch breaks? Their smiles struggled to be fake, their eyes searching for pennies left. The right wants them long and gone, but do they know here our lives wrote a song? The system will forgive and forget rapists, drug dealers, and those committing theft. The system has a statute of limitations for every law and order, except for a baby girl who crossed the border. That girl, grown and now wise, grew up with a life full of demise. At the age of 3, she starved for food to eat. At the age of 17, she fell in love with a fiend. He beat her up time after time. Her heart gave Her heart gave her a vice, said that with solely love you don't survive. Hadn't seen her father's eyes in 16 years, another deportation bringing families to cry red tears. Another story I want to be told, so your ignorance can be sold. Once I went into a cantina, met a sorry soul named Latina. She sold her skin day and night so she could afford to eat another bite. I didn't forget about her 5 kids, hurting herself just so they can feel bliss. Another migrant oppressed of opportunity while they live a life full of scrutiny from people who will never understand the migrant justice I yearn in my hands.
Oh my God. Wow. That is heavy too. That is. Thank you, Imogen. You read it. Yeah, you're awesome reader. Like, I love how your pace when you read. It's really, it lets everything like it's digestible, you know. But oh my gosh, this poem! I'm so proud of her for writing it, and also honored that we can include it in this collection. And wow, so much injustice. I mean, I wish we could just all, you know, it's like, what's up with these borders? There's no borders on the world, like aside from the water, right? Like, it's land, and we're humans, citizens of Earth, you know, Earthlings. Like, let us be, have the shelter, have the food, let us fend for ourselves. This is so sad, painful. This story. Offer her 5 kids to eat. And probably not Esmeralda directly, maybe not, but the Latina that she's talking about. Wow. Yeah, this is a powerful poem. Damn. Oh, any thoughts or comments? Anybody want to comment? Or, yeah, it was strong. Okay, let's check out the next poem. Oh, this is Gato Ska's poem. All right, Dreaming of Hugs and Revolution. Let's see. So we hadn't heard from Scotty in a while. Huh? Oh, I was like, what was that one? So we have Gato's poem, and Juan's and Imogen. Yeah, I think those are the last. Oh, and another Scotty.
When are you? Oh, okay, never mind. I was in. Never mind.
Yeah, I'll read Gato's poem. Can I read Gato's poem? And then see one.
Read Gato's poem.
Start a revolution.
I wanted to read it, but I think you would sound better because you know I just
I'll try to hone in on my Gato Ska voice. By the way, Gato Ska is amazing. She has done the December Poetry Challenge from the Los Angeles Poet Society for all 31 days of December without fail, without pause. Like, she did it on the day and posted and shared. Like, she deserves so much props. Gato Ska, you rock, sister. I know I tell you this all the time. I'm telling you again. And she's also helping me edit the LA. Oh yeah, she's also helped me edit the Los Angeles Poets for Justice book, which is also going to be debuting tonight. I'm probably going to be reading a couple excerpts from it on Instagram, and then we'll have a launch party next year, right? Like this in January. But nevertheless, just lots of love to Gato Ska. And well, here's her poem, Dreaming of Hugs and Revolution. Dear 2020, you are the year of morgues and graves, of grief and isolation, of empty movie theaters and masked mouths, the year of cop cars on fire and broken windows, of rebellion and Black Lives Matter signs, of feet marching in streets and armed agents of the state with blood in their eyes. You are the year that broke my heart and birthed it too. Dear 2020, I never liked hugs, but now I dream of embraces and the warmth of skin. I hate people, but I guess I love them too. That's what you showed me, 2020. I wish I could go to a bar, sit in the corner booth, listen to the jukebox and cry. Zoom is a tease. I wish I could smell the musk of someone's flesh or the shampoo in their hair. Hell, I'd even take their onion and garlic breath. Dear 2020, I don't want things to return to normal. Normal means selling my time for a boss's profit, means cops shooting Black and Indigenous folks, means borders and cages, means social security numbers and deportation buses. Pre-pandemic was a crisis too, so I don't blame you for it at all, 2020. It took looting and burnt police precincts for people to wake up and see the rampant centuries-old racial inequality. And that's what you did, 2020. Dear 2020, I've been unemployed for 6 months and writing every day, but the words in my journal don't pay the rent or put food in the fridge. I'm hoping that from your ashes, 2020, a new era will arise where mutual aid isn't a trendy way to say charity, an era where a virus won't further divide us based on privilege, an era where we will take care of each other because we're all connected. Dear 2020, I hope you are the precipice of radical change, a 2020 vision for the future. Battle Sky, yeah! Woo, 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 woo. I'm putting my crown back on. It has the flashing light. So in case you didn't see it, it says Happy New Year. I don't know if y'all were able to see it from over there. And it has a flashing light. Or I could turn it off. I don't want to give anyone like a seizure. But Happy New Year. We're getting closer. It's 8:30. Oh my God. I wasn't trying to keep you on this long, but you know, we're in the moment. So it's all right. It's all right. We're here. But yeah, oh my God, I love that poem. It's just so, I feel, it resonates with me so much. Like, I feel like she does. I really do. I want there to be a change to this whole system and this government and everything. Like, I want there to be justice and equality. And I think it's important that as community and as citizens, like we just take care of each other. You know, it doesn't make you weak because you're hoping like you can get seen by the doctor, like that 8-hour wait or the zip code division. That's just insanity. That's another way to discriminate against people. Like, this is life or death, and they're freaking, oh, you're in the wrong zip code. Like, who's the one upholding that? Who can say that? Well, sir, you're not in the right area we service. Go away. Like, really? Like, where's your humanity? Like, if that was your grandpa, your mom, you're gonna be like, oh, mom, you're in the wrong zip code. Gotta get out of here now. You know, that is absolute insanity. And that's corporate. That's all corporate business and everything, trying to keep people divided like that. Okay. Well, that's how I feel anyhow. But so we heard Michelle's poem. So there's Michelle's poem, and this next one is from Scott. Scotty's your last poem in the trilogy. Scotty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hey.
Yay.
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. My apologies. Okay. So this is as we started writing and I was trying to get mad at 2021, this was as good as I could do. Dear 2020, or excuse me, as I was trying to get mad at 2020, pardon me. Dear 2020, feeling isolated leads me into connection with myself. Imagination is fostered in isolation. My imagination brightly flourishes, fragrantly fresh, extroverted, introvert. Always looking out, always feeling odd, always different, left to imagine again, left to imagine again. Imagine hope in distress, imagine fullness while empty, imagine warmth while on the sidewalk, imagine home, imagine hope. Isolation and imagination, I can feel my way back to connecting with the pantheon of interesting characters throughout the history of life.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Scotty. Oh my gosh, like I totally feel that. That sidewalk.
And that
It's
like took a
awful.
whole new meaning the other night, like when I was like, oh, thunder and lightning, like that's on my phone, right? Like because sometimes like being in the shelter, I had two like really loud roommates, and I would always put put my earbuds in and like sleep with like a lightning storm or whatever in my phone.
Oh.
So when that was happening, I thought I was listening to something on my phone. And then I looked out the window and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember what that feels like. Like that memory is so fresh as April. And it's like, wow, like I can really like I can sympathize now. Like I can like I may not have that same like lived experience at this current moment, but like it's really cold tonight. And I can like feel that of like what that felt like. And then also like at the holidays, like when like you're like don't have a place to live, like people are very weird and they don't like they get really like standoffish. So I spent, a couple of holidays without a lot of like contact outside of my friends who were also, excuse me, without homes. So that was also really weird. And just how I've been a lot more intentional since the pandemic and realizing that like, oh, other people feel the way this poem feels like all the time, just like I did. And now,
Yeah.
thankfully we get a space to talk about it because everybody else is like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I'm like, yeah, it is, isn't it? It really sucks to feel isolated and alone, doesn't it? Welcome to how some of us feel all the time in
Yeah.
a culture where we're not welcome to be who we fully are. Anyway, thanks
Right.
for listening to my 2020 poems. I love these classes. It's been a lot of fun.
We love you. We love you, Scotty. No, I love I mean you're right. You're right. You're right. Like there's like a lot of is it a documentary or a well just on invisible they call it like the homeless are invisible people, right? People are always looking the other way or they like and like folks start to feel like wow, it's like I'm not even here and it feels weird and well not even weird, that's like putting it lightly, but painful not to be acknowledged.
It does feel weird though because people that I knew, a woman, and I told the story in one of the podcast episodes, a woman that goes to Hollywood Adventist Church that's like really involved. One Saturday morning before church was like, "Oh, you're so clean," and I'm like, "I shower here in your showers that you have with the shower pro." That's how I started coming to church here.
Oh my god.
She knew that, but it was like she just wasn't
Wow.
thinking, and she's like, "Oh, for some, you're so well spoken, and just like you're so like you make eye contact," and I'm like, "Yeah." And there's a whole bunch of people that are homeless just like me.
Jesus.
The cost of living is different now than it was even 10 years ago.
I know it's hard.
Well, it changes everything. So yeah, we all have a story, but yeah,
Yeah.
homeless because they're just lazy. That's a myth. That's really a myth.
Oh my god, that's so wretched for people to say that. Like you're not working hard enough. It's like, how about that everybody's greedy by marking up the cost of living or the cost to have a home or like we're lucky if like everyone lives either in an apartment. Like if you know anybody with a house, it's probably because they got it like from their mom and dad or grandpa and they got they settled in. But it's like you have to be getting $100,000 a year or more to be a homeowner or to I don't know, like some of these apartments are just like like a little studio costs like $1,200 a month I remember when it was $600 for a studio. I'm like, it's a small space. It shouldn't be thousands of dollars.
Less than 20 years ago. Less than 20.
Yeah, totally.
Property ownership as well. And there's not a lot of conversations about that happening in spaces where people are, they're talking about the demographics of homelessness, but there's not conversations about why it looks that way. Like why do these populations look this way? And I actually had a white woman in a podcast that we were doing, and we were talking about mental health, and she was talking about the top 10 people in Hollywood that were like the biggest like people that they needed to get help for or whatever. And she's like, oh, but no, they're all white. And I was like, you're literally contradicting me, someone with lived experience. And then like as the white woman going, oh no, I only see the white people that are struggling on the street. Well, sweetheart, that's because you're in Hollywood. Like you're near Hollywood and Highland. Like That's why those are the people that you saw, because the neighborhood that you're in, that's socially acceptable neighborhood, and the cops regularly, would run anyway. It just like the fact that she couldn't see that, and then like I left it, I was gonna edit it out. I was like, I'll leave this in because she did her own podcast series, bless her heart. She might see this. Hi. But I was just like so stunned that she said that, because it wasn't just privileged, it was really unaware to me of someone who's an advocate that doesn't understand and isn't going to take the time to learn, about redlining and about gentrification. And then even like with the LGBTQ, population, I was stunned as a queer person how high that is in homelessness. And that, just going back as, recently as, my mom's generation, gay men were lobotomized and institutionalized, and
that's so.
we don't talk about these things, but yet they look at the demographics and like, oh, well, we can't figure out like why these like certain groups of people are more or like illnesses, like people that get really chronic bad illnesses. Like I know a lot of people that had like a really severe form of cancer or something, and then they end up with just such a problem that when they get out of the hospital, there's no safety net for them, and they end up without a place to live.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. Like you could lose everything. Your health goes and you can't work like a horse or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
The myth. Anyway, I won't take up the whole floor because I know everybody else probably wants to.
No, it's all good.
For listening, I'm realizing really like how much it's all connected and how it is really like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do think a big part of it is like not wanting us to be able to experience joy, and not wanting people to, and I think
anybody different that's not a white man. Sorry, that's really what it is.
But just taking it away from, like getting us so focused on things rather than connection.
Right.
And people, and then we get so caught up in stuff because then we're alone with all of our stuff and we don't know what to do because we've lost the whole point of like, this is what people are craving.
Connection. Yeah.
Want, because this is what we're designed for. Anyway, happy 2021.
Hey, happy 2021. Woohoo! Yeah, no, you're so right on. You're a wise fellow, Scotty. And, thank you for sharing your truth with us.
Thank you for continuing to have these classes. It's really awesome.
Yay, definitely. We'll have more next year. And
sometimes it's really hard to live in a world where people don't want you to exist, even in your own family. And it's a really hard like road to walk, and just acknowledging that like I'm still here at 46. Like I had people in my own family who told me that I wasn't going to live this long, and I'm still here, and I'm healthy, and I'm changing the world, and I'm the folks who are. And I just think it's so amazing that like folks want to try and dim that light, and you can't. So anyway,
don't let them dim it. Love you too. Yay! Thank you so much for sharing. I always love like talking with you. All right. So Juan Cardenas' poem, Death and Revolution on aisle 2020. Juan, are you available right now? Or okay, here he comes. Okay. All right, so we're gonna come back to Juan. We're gonna go to Imogen. So Imogen, you have two pieces, and then we'll close with Juan's poem. So yay, Imogen, you've been reading poems of others, and now it's your turn for your own poetry. So here's her work, and here we go.
Okay, A Saving Grace. Dear 2020, in a year where echoes bounced against four walls returning louder for lack of visitors, where party clothes gather dust for dearth of celebrations, where dishes depressed under the weight of lonely meals, where the sights and musk of new lovers are confined to the quadrangle of hard screens and the molding fields of distracted minds. Adventurers said no to imaginary borders. Though this body may be locked down, an electron weaved web cast out like a lifeline, netted kindreds, surfing across virtual coastlines near and far, embracing each other's open hearts, synchronizing beats to the yearning of connections to rise above the browbeating loneliness, the weariness of strangers, and prejudgments from one-sided stories. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Absolutely. Like you captured so much. The details that you have with the dishes being depressed with the lonely meals and the the party clothes. Like that was something you had there. The party clothes gathered dust. Oh my gosh, I love that. You're such a visual poet, like a very like lots of sensory.
Yeah, you were talking about
and the echoes bounced off the four walls. Like that's what a great opening.
Thank you. Yeah, you were talking about invoking the five senses, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
go with that.
Yeah. Hey, yes, I helped it. Oh, cool. Well, then you're the one that you crafted it. You got it. You did the magic. Yeah, this was great. Oh my goodness. I love it. Yeah. And then here's the next one. So this is also Imogen's poem.
Goes to reach. I imagine the scenario gazing into the eyes of those whose voices have hoisted me above a year of invisible mountainous stress, whose stories tuned to the strings of my heart to harmonize in chords that trilled from the agony of cruelty to the exhilaration of newfound love that beams resilience despite the odds. I dream of holding their chests within mine to negate the deficit of embraces foregone for the sake of our shared preservation. I wonder what notes their chemistry would play on my nostrils when we erase the unbroachable physical distance dictated by a microscopic tyrant, and what subtleties I may catch from their gesturing hands, the tilt of their head, and their nimble legs and feet that may reveal tales that words refuse to carry.
Say more magic right there. Oh my gosh. Yes, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're really great poet. Oh my gosh. I was rereading your lines. I'm like, oh my gosh. Beautiful. And it's just so much stillness too. Like I feel like it has some uplifting, but it's also like the stillness of this time. It's there. Oh my gosh. I remember seeing that. I like the microscopic tyrant. That's one. I remember that from yesterday. Oh yeah, you're the one that had said the self-preservation. There we go. For the sake of our shared preservation. That's right. I know, like someone had said preservation, self-preservation. I know Michelle was talking about it today too. But yeah, great work. Great work. Yay! Yeah, I caught a couple typos through here. I'm sorry about that, folks. I'll update it before I send it to you. Everyone, I'll email it to you after we close the show right now, and but I'll fix those typos. I remember where they were. Yay! So let's give it more love to Imogen, A-Ray. Woo woo! And we're gonna close up with Juan Carlos. I guess that would make sense. We got the lady started it, and then the gentleman. The two that are related here. We get to let's see. I'll start with Juan. Let's have Juan close up the night.
Okay, so here's mine. Death and Revolution on aisle 2020. I lived you, all of your days, every inhale a second, every exhale death all over your calendar. To replay your minutes of anguish is a blessing. I bathe in the renewal of time consuming itself to resurrect. Oh, to the spirits fighting for the dead, and fighting to kill what's killing humanity.
Wow. Oh my God, Juan. I bathe in the renewal of time consuming itself to resurrect. I love that though. The ode to the spirits, fighting for the dead and fighting to kill what's killing humanity. The virus to the frontliners, and oh my gosh. And then also for those that are, being resistant and trying to help fight for our brothers and sisters, that have been killed by the hands of racism. I think that's great that you captured both of them. I love it. I love that title too, though, on aisle 2020. It's like Death and Revolution over there on aisle 2020. Oh my gosh. Good job. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
So with
for
that,
hosting. You are like really, you're so much to the literary community of LA, and this time's more than just LA, considering there's no physical boundaries now for open mics and workshops like this. So thank you very much. You have a huge, beautiful heart, and I'm not just saying that because you're my wife. You do, and I can see it, and I can hear it in people's voices when they talk to you. So thank you so much, baby.
Thank you. You made me cry. Oh my God, how many times have I cried in front of you, Scotty? Well, of course, Juan has seen me cry a million times. But thank you. I love you. I love you, Juan. But thank you, everyone. I mean, like I said, it's poetry is my passion, and I love being around poets. I love the arts as well, and I love having a party. So throwing a party here and just being together, and just celebrating each other's truths and words, and just being in community. I always talk about creative community, and that's creative folks, people that are artists and painters, dancers, and actors, writers, etc. There's so much that we can learn from each other, and through our art, we share our pains and our joys, and we learn from each other. We connect with each other. It's just, it's a pleasure. I'm happy to be here for everybody, and you're here for me, and I love y'all. So I want to let's see, let's go off with a song, maybe, huh? Should we just say Happy New Year to you? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, all my friends. Happy New Year to you. And may 2021 bring more joys than sorrows for you and yours, and just blessings to you all. And I can unmute everybody if y'all want to chat. Let's see.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, good night.
Good night.
Have a beautiful 2021. Bye, Scotty.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye, Michelle.
Good
Bye,
night.
Michelle.
Happy New Year. See you in 2021.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Good night. Very
Big
nice.
love.
Last of the year with you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Scotty. Bye, Imogen. Bye, Michelle. Everyone have a great night, and I'll see you next year. Bye. Thank you for joining, and I'll email you the chapbook momentarily. Thank you so much, everyone that's viewed our show. This was Love Letters to 2020 from the Los Angeles Poets Society to you, and sponsored by Poets and Writers. We're happy to be here for you, and we'll be here for you in 2021. Check us out, lapoetsociety.org, and stay connected with us. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Los Angeles Poets Society. We're on Twitter at Los Angeles Poets, and we look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.